Okay, the next thing we need to do is hook up our wires here for our left and right shoulder bumpers. Now, the position we want to be soldering to is this one and this one. So the sort of upper left-hand corner of each. So first thing we'll do is tin those areas. Okay, we're back up the temperature. All right, there's one. There's the other. Okay, and then I'm going to clip this off right there. I like the way that run looks. So lift that back up, and we will strip that again, re-tin it, and weld that into place. There we go. Just kind of pushing that wire where I want it, and then I'm going to add a little more cap-in tape for strain relief. I don't suspect there's going to be any issues there, though. Okay, there we go. Let's do this side.
Farewell, sweet cookie cats.
Yeah, something about like that's fine. You know, and honestly, with this one, it's so close, I'm not going to trim it. I'm just going to go ahead and attach it. And then I'll just move the wire a little bit. Usually I wouldn't do that, but this is so close. I think that's all good. I'm just going to do a really quick cursory check. See if everything still looks like it wants to go together. And it does. Not seeing any issues there. Another thing I'm going to check really quick is I went ahead and taped down my audio amp. So I want to set this in here. Just about where it's going to go. Make sure that nothing is interfering anywhere. Alright, that looks like it is going to close up just fine. So, I'm not going to actually hook this one in quite yet. I think the next thing I'm going to worry about is running my audio. There's a little more to it than that. One of the things I realized is now that I actually have the board screwed down here, one of the points I want access to is this 5th pin here is going to be our speaker shut off for the headphones. And I don't have real good access to it on this side. I think I can make it work, but I have to put in like a 10k ohm resistor there and run a wire to this middle point here. I want to also do my strain relief. Getting ahead of myself. Alright, so definitely need to tin my audio wires here, because I'm basically going to be running a jumper wire to those points. So the other thing I'm going to just do while I'm here is go ahead and get my positive and negative terminals ready to hook up for my power board. I'm just going to check under there, make sure nothing dripped through. Yeah, I don't see anything weird, just always want to double check. It's one of the reasons I'm also trying to be so fast. I don't want a bunch of solder to blob down through that position onto my ribbon cable. That'd be bad. You know I need to run that diode at some point, so I might as well go ahead and pre-tin that point now. And actually, I'm going to look real quick. Okay, so I also need to tin this point. So, oh, and I need my points that are also going to be running out to my battery. So there, and there. So I might as well just go ahead and hook that in. I'm not going to screw this down yet, because I do need to be able to get under here for running my wires back behind. But once you know what I think I'm going to do next, just to make my life easier, I'm going to go ahead and weld a bunch of wires to these positions. Go ahead and hit these two, run everything down and then back up, so then I just have all my points and I know what I need to weld to. So go ahead and do that now. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I need to use. Alright, I've got 5 here. So I'm just going to give myself a nice healthy run of wires there. Alright, let's strip some wires. We only need to do one side right now because we don't actually know how long our different runs are going to be. Alright, so go ahead and tin these really fast. Man, I really wish I had my helping hands. I'm going to go look for that real quick. Okay, found my helping hands, got all my wires tinned and ready to go. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start wiring up our amp. Alright, ground will go with brown. Here we go. There's a ground. Then we'll go yellow. Here we go, there's then. Our shutdown, let's go orange. So our shutdown. A minus, let's go black. There we go, and we will do a positive. There we go. Alright, so all these wires, I almost want to hit them with some heat shrink tubing and bundle them all together and do one thing, but that's alright. Instead, we're going to just route them all down through this hole. Going to run them through this channel, up behind, like so, and up through this hole. Oh no, they're fighting me. Go to your home, wires. Is that really a Happy Gilmore reference, dude? Alright. So there we go. There is our audio run. And I think that is going to work great. Yep. I think that's going to be pretty good. Yeah, and actually I think I'll just go ahead. We'll cut these. Oh yeah, we do need to run our actual speaker, our speaker wires here as well. So let's go ahead and do that with red and black. I wonder if I should maybe use kind of running out of room back there. Yeah, I'm still gonna use Kynar for that. Let's see here. I have red and black wire, which somehow ended up like twice as long as my red wire. Not sure how that happened. Okay, let's get out. Helping hands. Red wire. And our black wire. So we want our speaker wire here to be red positive, black negative. So we will go, oh yeah, we need to trim these up just a little bit. And actually our negative wire looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and wire those up now. Our negative wire. And our positive wire. Right, so same deal. We're gonna run these. Okay, I need to trim this black wire so I can work with that like at all. You know, that has kind of worked out like, better than I expected. That's great. I'm happy about that. And so there's our audio lines, and then we'll run our power lines up and around here, and you know, hopefully that's keeping them far enough apart from each other. So now the tricky part, we need to cut everything to length for where this board is going to sit inside the shell. And that run's going to be pretty easy, but I think we're going to save the speaker wires for last. We're not going to worry about those at the moment. And actually, I'm going to share with you the diagram that I found that is really, really helpful for doing one of these PAM amps inside a GBA. Let me pull that up and I'll be right back. All right, so here's the guide that I found from a Reddit user, Unarmed Robonaut. And this is way better than the guide that was on Handheld Legend. They actually show you what goes where. We can see that our ground connects right here. We bridged our two teeny tiny caps there, which are going to be our VIN. Our disconnect is going to run to pin 5 here with a 10K resistor, which is the one that I'm really hoping I don't have to pull the board again, hoping I can get to it from the top side. Then we have our A plus and A minus are going to be basically running from the board here. And then our actual run out to our speaker from the amp are these two here, which is basically exactly the guide I followed when I was wiring this all up. Okay, so I roughly have my wires run to the positions that I need them in on the board. So our ground is here, VIN is going to be coming up here, positive and negative audio there, and our disconnect right here to this corner. So I'm going to go ahead and do those now. I'm going to leave the disconnect for last because I kind of have to figure out how exactly I want to go in there and do that. And yeah, so we will go ahead and start trimming these lines now for that. Now, I do need to leave a little bit of extra on this one just so I have wire to work with here when I'm trying to weld this one into place. So we move that one. This one we can sit right exactly where we need it, which will be basically right there. I'm just kind of bending these back as I get them to the correct length. All right, positive and negative. So positive and negative audio there. That's close enough. And I'm just leaving the disconnect for now. We're going to do that one last. Okay, so let's go ahead and strip these, tin them, and start welding them where they need to go. There's our ground. Then I'm going to be pretty careful with, I really don't want a whole lot extra there because we're working with some pretty fine stuff. Positive and negative. They can be just a little bit longer. But, you know, with all these, I try not to have a whole heck of a lot of extra wire hanging out. And if I do, I trim it up after I've tinned it. Okay, let's go ahead and tin those now. Good enough for the moment. Let's hit these ones first. So, I think I'm going to start with my ground. That's just a little too long. I need to trim that extra bit off there. There we go. Okay, I think we are ready. Although, you know, before I get welding these down, I guess I pretty much have my boards where I need them. So I'm actually going to go ahead and screw this board into place just to help keep everything in place. So I need to go find my screws for that. Okay, everything's in place. Let's go ahead and get this wired up. Iron went into standby. I need to turn that back on. Alright, and again, I'm going to use a technique where I put just a little bit of solder on here first. That is a tight fit. Okay, not quite. I need to actually put a little bit of solder on sort of the top, back side of my tip there. I'm having some problems there. I don't like that at all. Here we go. That's better. That is a tricky one. Whoa. That one was hard to get in there. We did it. Definitely not super pretty, but it's not touching anything and it will work. Okay, moving on. Next, we're going to do this, our VIN here. This one should be a little bit easier to access. Alright, tinning my iron. You know, that actually kind of pulled up high, so I'm going to come back in with some flux. Try to get that to settle in a little bit better. Alright, word to the wise, when you do that, try to hook up the VIN. It's already been bridged. Make sure you use some flux in there. Need a magnifying glass here. See that? Yep, that looks good. Those are the two hardest welds, I think, on this whole thing. So, yeah, we should be good to go. Other than that, you know, before I get going too much further, though, I do need to figure out getting at this corner pin here with my resistor. So let's try and see if we can't get something to weld to that corner. There's a lot of plastic there, so we need to really be careful, make sure we don't go melting a bunch of plastic. But you know what? I think we actually have a point there. I like that. I think that's going to work. So we now have a point right here, which we can use for our shutdown. And so let's go ahead and hook that one up next. I do need to figure out the best way to do that. Go through my resistors here. Here we go, 10K. I'm gonna double check, make sure that's the correct value. Is that what we said? Yep, 10K. You can see these are pretty good size, so I'm gonna need to kind of do some test fitting before I actually weld this thing in there and just make sure it's gonna still close up for me. Yeah, I mean, I could kind of run it right there, right along the top. Yeah, none of these are going to be real easy, so I think my best bet here is going to be to bend this a little bit, flip it like so. That's going to fit in right about there. Tin that up. We're going to try to weld that right into place. Yeah, sorry, my hand's probably going to be in the way a little bit while I do this one. Don't have a good way around that at the moment. There we go. Alright, that resistor is now welded to that point. So I'm going to get my line kind of back out of there, back underneath. I think I'll just go ahead and kind of cut this right about there. Tin that quickly. We don't want stuff dropping all over inside our shell or anything, which means that this line can just connect right there. That's great. Okay, so we can I always want to leave just like a little bit extra, so you've got a little something to work with. In this one, since I'm not really going to be able to strip that, I'm just going to have to burn some of that coating off. It's not super pretty to do it that way, but it does work. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can clip off a little bit of that ugly stuff. There we go. It's a little bit better. I need to tin my iron and move that wire into place. All right, we are making progress. All right, we've got our ground, our VIN, and our shutdown wired up. Let's go ahead and do our positive and negative audio. All right, negative first. Actually, it looks like I cut this just a little bit long. And that's long enough that it's plenty easy to strip. Tinned up there. Alright, that kind of spiked up a little bit, so I'm going to hit that with just a little drop of flux. Getting pretty close now. Positive audio. Yeah, same thing's a little long. Press those guys down in just a little bit there. Okay, just about time to hook up our audio lines. I think for these, I'm actually probably going to want to do a little bit of heat shrink once they're welded together. Now, these wires are so freaking tiny that even like my smallest heat shrink tubing may be too big for them. We'll try it though. Alright, so let's go ahead and trim our wires to length. Definitely leaving a little bit of extra here. Alright, now I'm going to drop my heat shrink tubing down each wire, so after I connect these I can slide those back into place and cover up where they are connected. Yeah, this is going to be a pain in the butt to get lined up right. Yeah, my red wire keeps moving on me. Trying to see if I can like wedge something in there to keep them where I want them. Black's connected, or red's connected. There we go. Just give these a quick tug test. Those are good. All right, cool. All right, I need to go fire up my heat gun. There we go. I've got this set to 350, and I'm just kind of trying to flatten that out a little bit so my heat shrink tubing will stay where it needs to go. Oh no. It went to the wrong place and then shrunk somehow. That sucks. I have to figure something else out for that in a minute. Let's have better luck with this one. Good enough. I'm bummed that this one left a little bit of wire exposed. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm really not sure this is going to work. I'm basically going to try to split one up the middle, wrap it around, and see if I can get it to kind of do what I want. Not at all convinced. Oh, that didn't work. Freaking Butterfingers tonight. Alright, so I basically split another piece of heat shrink tubing down the middle, and I'm hoping this will do that. Okay, cool. That is good enough. I just need to make sure that's not exposed in the middle. Okay, so our audio amp is wired up.